All right, it is the Matt Mosley Show coming to you live from Big 12 Media Days. We got a lot planned for you. We've already done some interviews we'll be sharing with you as we speak. I see head coaches milling around. Some of them will be popping on maybe in the second hour today. We may have TCU head coach Sonny Dykes will be probably about 1:45 is what we're going to do on that. So it is a busy day here, day 2 at Frisco, at the Star in Frisco. We are at the Ford Center, and glad to have our team today. Over next to me right now, we had Rich Rodriguez, the West Virginia coach, and it was good to have him on earlier with us, and so this is a strong day, and I've been over there actually today, focused on all of the coaches. We're good to have Logan Bagesi back on the scene, our local today producer, and then Kevin Hoosier Hall joining us today. And Kevin, we think we found a way to actually
Can you hear me now?
I had cut some wires yesterday when you started to talk. I was afraid we were going to get too much World Cup because there's a lot to react to, because it was mostly a Big 12 focus yesterday. But you sound good.
Yep.
You look okay. You look exactly how you always look.
Hey,
with your
I'm
Indiana.
okay with that.
You look fine. As we speak, Kevin, the Utes and Morgan Scally, their new head coach who took over for Kyle Whittingham. These coaches, this is going to be a fascinating year. So it's good to have Kevin, by the way. And our man Logan helped make that happen. He helped bring Kevin back to life, and so Kevin will be jumping on. It's like, oh, there he is again.
Did you want to hear my takeaway from the U.S. game?
Oh yeah, I think now would be a good time, because we are going to, at about 8 minutes away from, we're going to let you hear our interview with Rich Rodriguez, the head coach at West Virginia. I saw Avery Johnson, the quarterback for Kansas State, milling around. I don't think he uses Head and Shoulders. He uses something much nicer than that. I don't think that's pert he's putting in his hair. It's very, very nice. You know what I've tried to do, what I always...
You said Avery Johnson. I was thinking of a different Avery Johnson.
Yeah, this is the quarterback at Kansas State who I'm talking about. Right now, you've got the Utes. I listened to Sonny Dykes earlier. I got to say, Kevin, that I kind of think TCU thinks, and again, this may not be fair to the guy who's the quarterback at Indiana. Now, two things could be true. That guy could go to Indiana and just go off and have an incredible season. But TCU thinks they have, they honestly believe they have upgraded at quarterback. And I am excited to see what the man from Harvard, Jaden Craig, could do. Now, it's easy to say that now. All right, the guy left him. Oh, man, we're better. We're better off. You know, that stuff's kind of easy to say in retrospect. But, boy, the more I hear them talk about that quarterback, his athleticism, again, how do you ever know when someone's put up big numbers in the Ivy League if that's gonna hold up? But it's very interesting to watch and see that process. We will hear in a matter of moments Rich Rodriguez, the head coach from West Virginia, will join us. And then the Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year at some point is going to join us today. And then yesterday we had Kylan Reed we got to visit with, and we still need to share that particular interview with you. So lots to come up. And then I think we'll just have some head coaches that are just going to pop on with us, which will be nice. I was trying to write some stuff down about our man Colin Klein, the new coach at Kansas State. And let me just say this, Kev. I had an interesting thought, or semi interesting thought, while I was watching Colin Klein speak today, the new coach at K State. In his own way, and he did it differently. He didn't quite have the platform in Manhattan, Kansas that Tebow did in the mighty SEC at Florida. But I did have this kind of thought that in some ways, Klein was a was very Tebow like. Not only his magneticism, and also his faith, by the way, very, very, even today. Kevin, you would like this. Kevin's a man who likes to get out to Harris Creek, mix it up, see what the deacons are saying out there, the elders, I believe they call them. Kevin, you would have liked that. It was no, well, I'm at a state school. I'm out of Texas now. I probably can't really talk too much about my faith. Whoa, whoa. Right there up on the big podium, Colin Klein started talking about Jesus. All right, Kevin. I think I even saw some hands go up in the air. There was, there was
People getting blessed.
the movement. There was
Blessed.
Yes,
I love it.
Just jumped right up in the air. But very interesting guy because he has the help of former Kansas State coach Chris Kleiman, but the great himself, Bill Snyder, still makes his way around Manhattan. Stephanie Beatty making her way around today, and has put on some tennis shoes today. Seems to be a lot more comfortable, and appears to have some sort of 250th celebration. A monster. That's bad for you. Don't be guzzling that. She's got some of these monster energy drinks, which, by the way, Kevin has a little bit been controversial.
Yeah.
Not everybody thinks the Big 12 got a great deal on that.
Heard that.
They're going to put it on the basketball courts, men and women. They're going to put it on the patches
Yikes.
of the uniforms. And when you really play it all out, each school gets about $1 million. So most times, if you're doing a huge patch / thing on your court, like think about Kansas, think about Fog Allen. You think they're excited to go draw the Monster Energy symbol out on that sainted court? Now, Kevin, something about your hair and your whole persona kind of makes me think you've tried Monster Energy before. Would that be an accurate statement? Have you given it a go before?
I'm sorry I'm putting that out because that would be a solid no. I will stay away from all energy drinks whatsoever.
Wow.
I don't know if you've looked into the ingredients.
I know, but you don't
not wholesome.
A guy who's that fearful of energy drinks or something, but that's okay. Kevin's reading the labels. He's out there doing something. Now, by the way, my folks from Cincinnati, and that's why I enjoy the Bearcats come around, because they were like the only group.
Did they bring you Skyline Chili?
Well, they didn't bring Skyline Chili, but they are like handing out talking points, and the media needs that. The media, they're not all like me, Kevin. They're not all doing their own arduous research. They're just kind of like, oh my gosh, what do I ask this person about? All right. But they put together a really nice kind of wow. And even on the back, I just finally turned it over, and it's got all these notable people and innovations from Cincinnati, what their record is at home over the years, Satterfield's, record, and then Bearcats in the NFL. So
I would say that talking points are nice, but talking points from the person you are asking the question still need some due diligence, because they'll only serve you up what they want to talk about.
Well, exactly, and I'm not above doing my own stuff, but
good.
They got these guys in chef hats, and it's giving all the information here.
Are they cooking at Skyline Chili?
They're not, but they seem to be. Yeah, I'm trying. I think They like for the ingredients, they're putting all their accolades, but each one of them has these guys, they brought some big guys. They appear to have some offensive and defensive linemen that they've brought in. I like West Virginia just West Virginia just decided to bring in like only 3 players. Everybody else has like about 6 players. And for some reason, West Virginia just said, "Nah, the heck with that."
It's a long distance from Morgantown to Dallas. So
Now let's keep our eye. I'm going to keep our eye on coaches that are moving around here. But go ahead, Kev. Give me a brief.
yeah,
Your overall. Did you did your comments on the way the Americans played in that 4-1 loss um, to Belgium?
yeah,
Did they? Once you slept on it, did you feel a little bit better? Did you feel even worse? I mean, it was not a good performance at all.
right.
Does it completely undermine what they did throughout the World Cup? Because a lot of people, to me, sort of overreacted, and basically it was almost kind of like that performance wiped out all the good stuff.
Right.
Where did you land on all that?
Well, Balogun has come out on his Instagram and had an official apology. I would like also apologize to anyone who actually only watched that game and assumed that that game represented the whole of what U.S. soccer has done over the past 4, 8, 12 years. That is a terrible representation. They did not play well at all. It started with Christian Pulisic, who gave the ball away 14 times and then that was mostly before he got injured, and then it obviously had a huge deal to do with Matt Freese, who was in this moment in particular extremely indecisive. Even though he came out, he did not want to kick it with his left foot, had a hesitation, led to a terrible goal. But the bright side, Malik Tillman became the first U.S. soccer player in 60 years to score a goal on 2 set pieces throughout the World Cup, his single World Cup. What is it going to take? Because at this point, the U.S. has now hit a ceiling, and that is the round of 16. They cannot make it to the quarterfinals. If you ask me, I will refer you to what I talked about before this World Cup started, and that is Landon Donovan identified that it is a problem with the youth organizations putting too much emphasis on winning in their organizations rather than development. If you want to win at the highest level, you have to put aside winning and worry about development at the grassroots developmental levels in the youth programs. That's what it's going to take.
Kevin, this was such excellent information coming from you. I actually handed Logan the headset so he could hear it. I hated for him to only be able to hear me, and I just thought I hate to deny Logan this kind of information. And so he was over there checking things out. I'll tell you who you can. I mean, it's kind of starting to die down a little bit. I'll tell you who hasn't died down. Stephanie Beatty's voice. I mean, it's just like she's like 3 tables over, and whatever has made her laugh is just sort of taking over the Ford Center out here. So I may have her escorted out at some point. I do see some of the TCU PR people have shown up back on the scene, so we'll be ready. We'll be ready. But before we do that, let's and good stuff, Kevin. Nice to hear from you on that front. Let's check in with somebody we got to talk to earlier today, and that is the head football coach of the West Virginia Mountaineers. Rich Rodriguez stopped by Mosley Studios. Rodriguez now stepping in to the Mosley Show studios. And Coach, great to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Extremely sharp.
Yeah, put on a tie. Right in the middle of vacation time. It's okay, though. I'm glad to be here. This is making up for it.
Did you have to come in off the beach, or what
no,
have you done anything fun?
No, I was visiting. We were at our house in Alabama. We still have our house there, and the ice maker froze up in the kitchen and ruined the whole floor. So the whole first floor has to get fixed up. Yeah, so it's one of those deals. But the weather's great down there. Got some good friends, so we're spending some time there. But it's good to be here. This is a great venue, by the way, though, to have it, though. Isn't it kind of neat?
It is nice. Did you experience the Vegas? Well, they did that one.
No, I didn't do the Vegas thing. I heard it was so hot that the planes couldn't take off. The tires were burning up. But no, this worked out okay.
Yeah, it has to be interesting for you to see, by the way, the U.S. men's national team with the country roads.
Country roads, baby.
It was like people loved it
worldwide.
so much.
Yeah, it's
and
taken
your
off.
Baseball team.
Baseball team kind of triggered a little bit of it with some. But we started that in 2002, and I can remember when we did it. I was like, "How do we keep the fans in the game all the way through the end of the game?" We didn't want to say because we got great fans. And I was like, "Oh, just sing." Everybody knows Country Roads, so we'll only if we win, because if we lose, we're going to be pissed and want to get in the locker room. So if we win, and it kind of caught on, that year, and then it kind of re-caught on, I guess, this year with our baseball team, and then I don't know where the catch was with our men's national team or even some of the teams in Europe, but it's fun to watch. West Virginia's global now. We're global.
Yes, I've always thought that though. Did you? Were you a John Denver fan back in the day? And how did you implement
I was just
that?
It was an iconic. So I'm a West Virginia guy. I played at West Virginia, and so when I coached here, I said, "Yeah, everybody knows Country Roads. Like no matter where you went." Wherever I went my journey as coaches before I came back as a head coach, everybody knew that song. Like, see, you're from West Virginia. Oh, yeah, Country Roads. So I'm thinking, wow, that would be kind of neat. I didn't know it would catch on like it did then, but it happened to be like 2002 is when we started winning. And then we started really taking off, and so it's fun. West Virginia is a very prideful state. Everybody, if you're from West Virginia, it seems like not everybody's related now. Let me say that because my wife's from West Virginia too now, so we're not third cousins or anything like that. But she always gets, "Why do you say that?" But it was, but it seems like everybody in West Virginia knows everybody else from West Virginia, and it's that kind of state.
Can you recruit? I mean, and you have in the past. Nationally, and I'm just kind of wondering how you're balancing, because y'all had a really nice high school recruiting class.
Yeah, we signed 39 high school. We had a whole roster flip again, and we didn't. Last year we had no money and no time. This year we had a little money and a lot of time, so we were a little bit more intentful on how we process our portal guys. We wanted guys that had production in other places, like group of fives guys that wanted to move up, and then we wanted to sign a really good high school guys because those guys were cheaper. We don't have the full $40 million roster, but we had enough to get to address our needs. Now this year coming forward, we only got 14 seniors, I think. So we have a lot of guys coming back from multiple years. And what we got to make sure to do, if they turn out the way we think we're going to do, we got to make sure we retain them. So that's the first part of it. But it was we have a great product to sell. It's just not easy to get to Morgantown. Once you get there and you see our campus, our facilities, and be around us, it's a pretty good deal. And we're not paying guys to visit like some schools are paying them to visit, which is kind of a thing. But we have a great product. We got a great school, and once we get them on campus, the sales job is a little bit easier.
I stayed at the Greenbrier.
Isn't that a beautiful place?
It is beautiful, but it was that time they got hit with like the 100-year flood.
Oh, really?
So as we were leaving, some of the military was coming in to try to see about things. But it's a gorgeous place, and that wouldn't be a bad place if you needed a little team somewhere. I noticed some of the NFL teams.
Yeah, they got a great little situation down there, and a couple of really nice golf courses. I've been too busy with this, all the what's going on in college football, but I love going down there and visit.
See, you're smarter than the former Auburn coach was releasing too many of the golf scores. It's not that you can't play golf. You don't want to record every score, and so some of that was.
They're playing a lot of golf, but that's what the everything has kind of changed. Like I guess I'm an older guy now, but it's still a great profession. I mean, as frustrating as we can be, I mean, we're still fortunate to be able to coach.
Can you still coach guys as hard as you used to?
100%.
Okay.
We do. Yeah. Now, some people don't, but I still believe good players want to be coached, and we tell them straight up. And we're, two things: we won't waste your time. We always tell them the truth. We call our meeting rooms the truth rooms because we're brutally honest with each other. And I think good players want to get coached up, and that part won't sacrifice. Because I said I don't like people say, well, these days you got to be a player's coach. Well, I don't know what that is. I said players play, coaches coach, administrators administrate. That's what we do. Our job is not to be your buddy, even though we have great relationships with our guys. Our job is to be your coach and help you create value for yourself. And so that culture got established last year. So that really that's never going to change.
Are you back to being as fast as I think you want to be on offense? Do you think you're moving toward that now?
Good question. I think we're moving toward that. We weren't as fast. Well, last year, Plummet was injuries too. We had 5 quarterbacks hurt and four running backs. But, we're faster now at those positions. We're faster at wide out. And we'll play faster because it's the second year. Even though it's an 80-man roster flip again, there's enough players coming back, enough staff coming back that we can play fast. I want to be the fastest playing team in the country every year, but not fast just to be fast, but fast and effective. That's part of what we kind of try to strive our program on.
How comfortable are you getting like right up to the season with your quarterback situation? Still
I feel good that we have with Mike and Hawkins and Scotty Fox. Our quarterback room is going to be pretty strong. I might know right now, but I'm not. Why tell anybody?
Why not though? Why don't? I mean, the Mosley show would be a good venue.
Well, it would be a good venue.
Release this news.
Yeah, but I agree with you. I'm still not doing it. I like you, but not that well.
Yeah. Well, I've enjoyed this. I'm getting the time signal, but the guys you brought, how do you, when you decide who do I want to represent, and you didn't bring as many players as some. I mean,
I brought 3. I would probably only brought 1, because they're working out. They're missing a workout today. The way they ate last night, they probably needed to work out today. But no, I got 3 good guys. They're really good players, good people.
Okay.
Appreciate you guys.
Well, appreciate you. And we appreciate you being on the Mosley show. Coach Rich Rodriguez, the former coach of West Virginia, then he became the coach again. Mm-hmm. And when I was thinking about how nationally, I bet you do, California, you got your Michigan ties, you got your West Virginia.
Arizona, so it's not like
Alabama. You're boxed in that much. That's right. Up there at Gulf Shores and wherever your place is.
Yeah, I'm one of the old guys now. It's kind of hard to say that, but this is my final stop, and I hope to finish my career here at West Virginia, have great success, and then I'll get in the stands in a few years and bitch at the next coach.
It's crazy that you still look the same, I
feel
20
good.
years ago. So Rich Rod on the Matt Mosley show. More to come from Big 12 Media Days here in Frisco, Texas.
At Schmaltz Sandwich Shop, we don't just make sandwiches, we build them with fresh ingredients, bold flavors, and homemade baked bread every single day. Toasty on the outside, goodness on the inside. Schmaltz Sandwich Shop in Waco is locally owned and operated since 1975 with 2 locations in Waco, Town West off Valley Mills and downtown off 5th Street. Whether it's lunch, dinner, or just a craving, we got the perfect bite waiting for you.
Celebrate America's 250th with a new boat from Marineland Boating Center. Shop Tracker, Nitro, and Ranger fishing boats, Sun Tracker pontoons, and Tahoe sports boats priced to move and ready for summer fun. Join us during the week of July 4th, featuring great deals on Tracker boats, giveaways, and family fun. Visit Marineland Boating Center, your authorized Tracker dealer at I-35 and Loop 340 in Waco, or online at marinelandwacoyamaha.com.
It's the premier charity event of the year, the 2026 Central Texas Cattle Barons Ball, presented by Ascension Providence. A fun evening filled with great food and drink, dancing, a spectacular auction, and more. This year's theme is Nashville Nights, Neon Lights, and Bullfights. Get your tickets now, donate, or be a sponsor. Help support the American Cancer Society to find a cure. The 2026 Central Texas Cattle Barons Ball, October 24th at MCC Highlander Ranch. For more information, go to centraltexascattlebaronsball.org.
Hey, Leroy the Copier Dog here. Ready for an upgrade on a brand new Kia Sierra copier? Call CTWP. We'll find the perfect fit for your business. Stay local. Call CTWP before you sign. CTWP, your local copier company.
Right in the heart of Waco, there's a place Texas pride meets world-class flavor. The Dancing Bear Pub, open 7 days a week, 4 to 11, and offering happy hour Tuesday through Friday, 4 to 6. Wednesday is trivia night, and Thursdays is $1 off Texas Pints. A great place to meet up with family, friends, or make new friends. Kick back and soak in the laid-back vibe that keeps Waco coming back for more. Located at 1117 Spade Avenue, Dancing Bear Pub in Waco, where great beer and good company come together.
Is the Matt Mosley show, our final day of coverage here at the Big 12 Media Days. Rich Rodriguez on with us just a few moments ago. Now he's taking the stage here at Frisco, the Ford Center here in the Star, right next to where the Cowboys practice. Cowboys practice in here sometimes, and then over next to us is the Omni Hotel. So pretty good place to have it. I would say that they tried Vegas, and I'm sure they had a nice time out there, but just this is an easier place for folks to get in and out of. And I think it works out better. So good to have everybody. They've had a lot of, and it was smart to get the Power Four conferences to kind of space out their media days, and so that's been good. I can see the head SID for Kansas State over there, and he may try to bring us Colin Klein, the new head coach at Kansas State, at some point. We're going to try to get Sonny Dykes on from TCU, and Sonny Dykes will be on with us hopefully in the next 15 minutes or so. He had to go to lunch. I don't know how long they'll be at lunch. They have some little breakout areas over there that'll happen. I would say yesterday, you would think Dion usually commands the biggest crowd, but because of the Texas Tech story, I would say that Joey McGuire commanded one of the biggest audiences. But I wanted to tell you a little bit of breaking news from earlier today. Ross Dellinger is around here somewhere. In fact, he's a big, tall guy. I haven't seen Ross in a while, so I haven't really put eyes on him. But he's a great writer for Yahoo, and he reported about 5 hours ago that Brett Yormark and Texas Tech executives recently met at a Fort Worth steakhouse to bury the Brendan Sorsby hatchet. I think it's going to take a little more than a steak to make that happen. A quote, tough reconciliation process remains ongoing. Meanwhile, the Sorsby saga continues, and the NCAA has sent Cincinnati a letter of inquiry. We have wondered about that. Why didn't Cincinnati? Somebody tried to ask that question of Brett Yormark yesterday. Now, they ask it in this very Homerish Texas Tech. They basically had their guns up when they were trying to ask the question. And so that was a weird way to go about it. But, and by the way, one other story that Dellinger had just from yesterday, Vanderbilt basketball player Jalen Washington and 11 others are filing a lawsuit in Tennessee seeking additional eligibility related to the NCAA's new age-based policy. Every rule they make leads to these unintended consequences, and it just gets crazier. So we will continue to monitor all of this. Now, more news on the Texas Tech front. Cody Campbell weighing in, the Texas Tech billionaire, weighed in on this a few hours ago. This, according to Ross Dellinger of Yahoo. Cody Campbell said on the Fort Worth meeting, last night's steakhouse meeting, we want to find a way to get all other Big 12 schools to elevate themselves. Everybody needs to do some version of what we've done. That's the path forward for this conference. A rising tide lifts all boats. Well, I mean, I guess Texas Tech going to the first playoff ever, its first conference title ever. I guess now they can just kind of tell everybody how to do their business. They can just tell everybody how to conduct what they do. This is a very interesting quote from Cody Campbell. Why don't everybody just do what we do? Why don't everybody just, spend like billions of their money on portal classes?
Right.
And,
does Cody Campbell know of 15 other oil billionaires that can help out each one of these other teams?
Yeah.
Because that seems like a one-time affair. I don't know.
I mean, they have all the money. They have all the players. As somebody was saying to me, and I've said this before, they deserve some credit for identifying the right players, just because somebody gives you. Now, in Sorsby, they didn't. All right. They didn't quite do all their due diligence. The man had some skeletons in his closet. And so that's, I don't know how much of the $5 million they'll get to keep, but that's a lot of millions down the drain on Brendan Sorsby. So they do. I wouldn't say they missed on talent-wise, but they certainly missed from a character standpoint. Now, folks are starting to leave. Folks are starting to clear out. But our radio row or our YouTube row is still hard at work. We're doing things. Logan's over here just getting with it. So we're fine. We're thinking that here in about 15 minutes or so, 10 or 15 minutes, Sonny Dykes may roll through. And that'd be nice. It'd be nice to get to visit with Sonny, see what's on his mind, the TCU head football coach. All right, I hope I don't say, because he used to coach at SMU. Sometimes that gets in my mind, Logan, that he was at SMU. Do we have Kevin's voice turned back up? Oh, good. I think I heard Kevin a minute ago. That's right. Yeah, Kevin was making some good points along these lines. Kevin, while we await the day when either Sonny or by the way, Kevin, I told somebody today, I said I'm 1 to 3 live. So I think we're talking about like Colin Klein, and the Kansas State SID says something to the effect of, yeah, well, he can do like 3:30 or 4 with you. It's like, well, wait, I just said we're 1 to 3. So again, they're trying to get us people, but they don't all, they just kind of want us to all stick around all day. And at some point, Logan and the Rogue Media team and the 365 Sports and all the things that we are, folks are going to want to go home. All right. So we can't just stay around here till, they chase us out of here. That one guy over there, Logan, that's walking past behind the camera over there, the balding gentleman, look over to Logan, look far right. That's like the best journalist for K-State. He's an interesting guy because he just kind of, he's a little bit antisocial, which is fine. That's a lot of people that fit in that category, but he does a good job, like on all that stuff, covering Jerome Tang, what happened with Baylor's former coach there and getting fired for cause. He's a good guy. He's a good guy to kind of follow on all those kinds of things. I'll tell you what we'll do right now. Then we'll take one more break, and then hopefully Sonny Dykes just appears on the scene. Oh, wait. Who do I see? Yeah, no, I see that's not Sonny. That's the SMU. That's the TCU SID, Kyle Neves, but he didn't have Sonny with him. All right, I'm trying to monitor all these things because the minute, of course, I go to something we've already done, somebody will appear on the scene. I see him walking through there right now. I'll tell you what I'd like to do, Kev, though. Let's yesterday we had the BYU, the preseason conference player of the year. Like, I was kind of excited about this. And he's the running back from BYU, and he's really, LJ Martin is a big-time guy. In fact, Stephanie started asking him some questions after he was done with us. It was kind of interesting. But the man, he's a tremendous, and hey, all the focus seems to be on the team. Kev, let's let our people hear from the BYU's the preseason Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year, LJ Martin. Matt Mosley show. LJ Martin now joining us from BYU. Hard to miss you guys, LJ, in those bright blue uniforms as you stroll in here to media days. How exciting is this? And that's kind of cool yesterday. Not that it surprised anybody, but to get the Big 12 preseason Offensive Player of the Year, how cool is that to get that news?
Yeah, all that stuff's cool, but it really doesn't matter. This time last year, I don't think I was on any preseason team, so you just got to go out there and work for it.
What does it feel like now to go from, even just a couple of years ago, it was like y'all were the upstarts in the conference, to along with Tech, you're kind of the 11-win or 12-win team. It's a little different feeling, isn't it, when you arrive and you've had some success?
I would say it's not different for us at all. We kind of expected. We've always been the team that expected to win. Even our first year when we first joined the conference, when we went 5-7, we kind of expected to have a good year, go win 10 games, but it just didn't happen that way. But now it's happening. So I would say our expectations for ourselves hasn't changed, but for everyone else it has, I would say.
What have you added to your game? Obviously you had an incredible season. What have you done to try to kind of take it to the next level, either from a strength standpoint, catching the ball? What have you kind of added?
Yeah, I would say I added a burst. I feel like I'm a lot better in my acceleration, just getting out and just running a little bit faster.
Is there anybody in particular that you've worked with, anybody different, like in the off season to get that done?
Yeah, I've been working with our strength staff, so Skylar Main, Ryan Phillips, those guys. They've been helping me out a lot.
Who do you like watching? I think of the old BYU back, Algiers, a good, probably a guy you've gotten to know over the years and probably a good guy to look up to. But are there any certain NFL backs you like looking at their footage and trying to learn from?
Yeah, Saquon was my favorite player growing up. I remember watching him when he was in college, and he was just amazing. So I like watching him a lot just because he does everything. He's a complete football player. So I try to, watch him and, hopefully try to be kind of half of what he is.
Are you capable of doing one of those, to the defender, leaping over somebody?
That is something I would not even be attempting. Yeah, I did not like being in the air, especially, just being able to be a target for guys just to come hit. Yeah, I would not want to do that. That is not fun.
What have you seen from Bear Bachmeier, who was obviously at this time last year wasn't even expected to start and had a tremendous season for you and obviously can run as well. How big is that to have a quarterback that can run and really keep the defense off balance?
No, that's huge. Yeah, he's able to do it all, and it makes him a complete football player. He's able to run the ball, throw the ball, just does it all, so it just keeps the defense on their toes.
All right, and just how much – that's a pretty nice rivalry that's going with Texas Tech. You saw they've got a lot of attention this offseason for other reasons with what was going on with their quarterback, but – how big will it be for you guys to get over that hump this year and break through after kind of knocking on the door for a couple of seasons?
Yeah, it'll be definitely cool, to make the playoff and win the Big 12 championship. I mean, that was our goal these last couple of seasons. So being able to do that would be really good for us, just being able to complete our goals.
All right, who would you make a prediction that's going to be kind of y'all's breakout receiver? Because you don't have a ton of production coming back in that area, although I've heard people sort of brag on how you are going to be on the perimeter. Who stands out to you?
Yeah, we have three really good ones with JoJo, Kyler, and then a freshman, Legend Glasgow. They're all really good, able to make plays. So I feel real good about our receiving room. I feel like no matter who we have out there, they're going to get it done. I mean, they're all depth out there.
LJ, were you sweating it when Kalani was rumored? Penn State was after him, and I think people there in the BYU nation were coming up with all kinds of money and companies were coming together. What was that like to be one of the leaders of the team experiencing all that?
Yeah, it was really interesting. That was my first time being in something like that. And what's it called? It just kind of made me nervous just because, I had my kind of like my legacy at BYU and BYU is just one where I want to be. But I also love playing for Kalani, and he's what made BYU for me. So, yeah, it definitely, got me a little bit nervous when there was a chance he would leave, but everything got fixed, and he's not leaving, so that's why I'm still here.
What's your favorite thing about him?
Just the person he is. Makes it easy just to play for him. Could care less about what you do on the field. He just cares about you as a person.
All right. Do you have any numbers that you've written down that you want to try to hit this year personally? Do you have any goals?
No, I haven't. I just trying to score every time I touch the ball.
Well, I mean, that's putting some pressure on yourself, but
yeah,
that's good. Well, listen, thank you for coming by, and congratulations on the accolades and everything. I know it doesn't maybe mean that much to you, but that's pretty cool.
No, yeah, it's cool, but yeah, just bigger things though.
And hold up your camera there. You're going to be you're going to be vlogging. Where can we watch your vlog? Where will this be posted? Yeah,
this is going to be posted on BYU social media. So
okay,
yeah, it'll be like a little media day vlog. I don't know. There's a couple of us like that are all contributing to it. So yeah, it'll be. I haven't recorded too much because we didn't do much yesterday, and yeah, I just don't talk the most. So yeah, it's pretty hard to talk to this thing.
The vlog.
Yeah, you just feel like you're one-on-one.
Sounds like you're really into this.
Yeah, it just I don't know. I'm outside my comfort zone, so
that's okay. It's good to get outside your comfort zone.
No, yeah.
All right, you got tons of people waiting for you. Thank you for coming by. I appreciate it. LJ Martin, the preseason Offensive Player of the Year in the Big 12, joining the Matt Mosley Show, Big 12 Media Days, Frisco, Texas. All right, that was yesterday. We tracked down L.J. Martin. He's fast. He's elusive. So you've got to get to him. I don't know, like the fact that Sonny Dykes is now speaking on the stage would suggest we're not going to get him anytime soon. They'll try to bring him over perhaps after this, but he's up on stage in what appears to be sort of they've got several Big 12 coaches. Is that all the coaches from today? It looks like a pretty big crew. Looks like about 8 of them, and they're all up there together, and they've brought in the mighty ESPN's Kevin Connors. Now, Logan and Kevin, the good news is Kevin Connors is a longtime buddy of mine. So if Kevin will wrap this up, I didn't even know he was going to be here. So I've already texted him and told him to sprint this direction. So we'll have Kevin on and get his thoughts. He's up there. He's kind of looking at his notes right now. Look at that. He's having to kind of take a peek at those notes. But, yeah, they were going to try to get Sonny over, I think, before he hit the stage. Here's the only thing that's nice about this. Here's what I feel like if we don't get these guys in the 2 o'clock hour, and we may get a couple of them, but we're going to need, as it gets toward the All-Star break, there's not as much post Wimbledon. Baseball's all we got. It's before the Major League, before the NFL training camps open. It'd be nice to get some of these coaches on the horn and have some visits with them. So we'll be doing that. Now, here are the people I've heard from today. Sonny Dykes, who's back on the stage as we speak. And then Jimmy Rogers, the new head coach at Iowa State. Now, think about this. Jimmy Rogers leaves Washington State after one season. Then he leaves. And so now he is the new coach at Iowa State. Matt Campbell stayed there forever, but Matt Campbell took at least 25 players with him from Iowa State to Penn State. So he's got a lot on his plate. So I've prepared for anybody who shows up. We'll have questions for him. Colin Klein, the new head coach at Kansas State, could be stopping by. And Colin was very open about his faith earlier. And I think I'd like to kind of ask him about similarities between Aggie Land and what they used to call the Aggies, the Wildcats of K-State, the similarities between those places, Manhattan, Kansas, and College Station. Quite honestly, I think they're maybe more similar than you would think. All right, so today what we've done, we've holed up. Yesterday, we had 8 of the coaches show up, do all the stuff. I would say yesterday, because of, well, it used to be when Dion was here, that was when the excitement really began to flow. I would say, honestly, the gathering around Joey McGuire was just as much as it was with Dion. And again, I like the commissioner. I enjoy having a good relationship with the commissioner. I visited with him yesterday. And I heard Tom and John talking about this earlier. They think it's okay, not to talk about what happened. Not to talk about what the Big 12 did. I just say, hey, this is the Big 12. Everybody's gathered. You got the whole media. I don't think the answer needs to be, well, we're going to, today's not the time for that. Today's not the time to talk about, okay, when is it? When are we going to gather all the media and have the commissioner up in front of people? That does not really pass muster with me. And see, what he did is he allowed Texas Tech and Joey, honestly, and I'm not saying Tech's turned into some kind of, people don't have sympathy for this school that has millions upon millions of dollars, but in Joey's defense, and I took a picture of it last night, and I noticed this. And Logan, I don't know if you and Kevin noticed this, but this picture I took of Joey surrounded by the media last night, that kind of thing took off last night. I had like 15 or 20,000. Logan, are you following me on Twitter? I'm concerned. Logan, that you're not. Yeah, it's Corey Dickman is on the set as we speak. He's walking around here, but I just want to make sure Logan, a man who is finishing up his time in Tarleton in good old Stephenville, Texas, and he'll be looking for a whole permanent job. And I tell you what, we like him over at Rogue, although I don't make those decisions, Logan, but I will say I have really enjoyed your work. So I will put in a good word for you, okay? Now, I don't know if that'll help or hurt you, quite honestly, but I've enjoyed having you around and even split a sandwich with Logan yesterday. A pretty good roast turkey sandwich that we had here. I would say that between the breakfast and there, I generally at a large gathering like this would avoid any kind of breakfast casserole situation, but I have to say, today, and I was visiting with some people as I went through there, and I said, I'll just try a little bit of it. Whoa. I think there was some brisket that perhaps showed up in that casserole. Now, milling around, and I would show you this, but honestly, it's not that exciting to see these, but I'm just kind of letting you know. You've got, let's see, Max Olson over there. Oh, that's Ross Dellinger. If you've wondered what Ross Dellinger looks like, that's him over there in the suit. But there's all these people from The Athletic and Yahoo milling around. And the good news about starting the first media day and doing it separate than the ACC and the SEC and the Big Ten is that you get all the people here. You get all the national people. When you have the crossover media days, people have to make a choice, and you don't get as many people who come. And by going early, the Big 12 was able to bring in a lot of folks. And I tell you what, Rogue had a really good, and 365 Sports had a tremendous showing. I think we had like 20 folks credentialed, and it's been a nice showing. So we've been excited to bring that to you. I think I saw Kalani Satake, the BYU coach, out in the parking lot earlier. He was ready to talk to anybody else that wanted to visit with him. I tell you, the BYU folks, very impressive. Their hospitality. Right now, as we speak, some of the Big 12 coaches have taken the stage, and so we'll have more coming up for you from the Big 12 media days. They have a basketball media day. They do that in Kansas City. Not as many people show up for that, obviously. This has been a nice gathering. It's a good venue for it. The only thing you could do maybe to spice up a media day is to perhaps maybe have a concert, put on a little concert or something. When they do the things for the SEC, people show up in their Winnebagos. They show up in their RVs, and they're in the parking lot. And they used to do it. Now they did one year in Dallas. They've done it in Atlanta. It used to be in Hoover, Alabama, and people treat it like a big trip, like a getaway. I don't really understand it because you don't really let the fans in. I think what the Big 12 could do is tap into some of that fervor that you see in the SEC and let fans come into media day, kind of like they let fans into Super Bowl media day, which is an over-the-top experience. But they could put all the interviews up, let the fans be up there. I'm not saying I would pass the mic around and let the fans ask a question, but I do think you could maybe do a little more to bring the fandom in to this. So as I said earlier, that was really interesting news from earlier where Brett Yormark and Texas Tech executives have met. It's been my experience when money's involved and you've got billionaires involved, they will kind of make up and move on pretty quickly. There's more money to be made. There's more deals to be done. And they usually, as Jerry Jones famously said, don't make your money mad. Don't let your money get mad. And I think Cody Campbell probably has that same thing. That doesn't mean that there's not still some hurt feelings involved in that whole scene. So interesting what's going on. And Also today in college football, college athletics, the CSC, that's the group that approves all these NIL deals, says since its inception, $355 million worth of deals cleared and $89 million not cleared. CSC doesn't release deals under review, but that number is believed to be more than 100 million as previously reported, much of it from the SEC and Big 12. Wow. That tells you the kind of money that's coming through. And, it's very interesting to see all that play out. But again, it's good to see all eyes come together on Frisco and the Big 12 today. I would say of the new coaches, there's 4 new coaches in the Big 12. And I have kind of enjoyed listening and observing all of them. I think the one that right now, I sometimes you pick up on trends in college football, and I find it really interesting that that these schools, and it goes back to what Kansas State did, it goes back to what the Kansas did, but they love these coaches who have been highly successful at places like South Dakota State and North Dakota State. And that is what the new coach at Iowa State has. He had the 1 year at Washington State. Before that, he had a lot of success. He was 33-8 at South Dakota State. Chris Kleiman got hired at Kansas State out of North Dakota State. So it continues an interesting trend with coaches who win at that level, at the FCS level, and then win huge. Some of them win huge at the Division III level, and that's the way they work themselves up. I would say the guy that's going to be under the biggest microscope, though, is the Utah Utes, Morgan Scalley. We'll have him on soon, but I would just say that is very, very difficult to navigate, what the Scalley situation, because Whittingham had a great run there. Whittingham took most of the staff and a lot of the players to Michigan with him, and that is a lot to overcome. That's not the job Scalley thought he was inheriting. Here is the problem, and we saw the same thing at OU. Some coaches do not love being told they're going to have a coach in waiting. And so what Bob Stoops, this is what I've always heard, when they told him Lincoln Riley was going to be the coach in waiting, Bob Stoops just said, well, just give it to him now. Give it to him now. You want a coach in waiting? I'll move right on out. So you either have that happen or you have what happened at UT. They tried to put a coach in waiting after Mac Brown. Mac Brown was nowhere close to being ready to leave. And that coach has now been hired and fired a few times. And now Will Muschamp is back as a defensive coordinator. It's very interesting to see at the University of Texas, of all places. Talk about how things go full circle. UT fires its defensive coordinator and brings back Will Muschamp. That's just one of the many stories that are very interesting right now in the SEC. Now, as ongoing right now, just bring you up to date, and I'm looking at Lance Leipold, who, there's a, I was going to say, I think that's maybe it's a young-looking Ren Baker. That may be the West Virginia AD over there. Actually, that guy's too young to be Ren Baker. I better put my real glasses on at some point. But Lance Leipold, the Kansas, the KU head coach, is on the and this is an interesting thing that they're doing. They get all the coaches from today. They did this yesterday too, and they bring out an ESPN anchor and they do kind of a round table of the coaches. Now, the coaches are not going to say much in front of each other. I do think they have some friendships and all of that. So I do not know if this is like the greatest thing you can come up with or the greatest forum, but that is what they are doing as we come to you live from Big 12 Media Days right out here at the Ford Center. Now, in the 2 o'clock hour, we will, hopefully they'll break this up and we'll try to grab a few head coaches. Oh, look at that. They're all getting up. Maybe they're finished. Maybe they'll make a beeline for the Mosley show. Let's take a break and take care of Golly Central National Bank. Thank you so much. Jerry Johnson, Siegmund James, thank you for being that unbelievable law firm that you are. Brazos Landing, Schmaltz's. Oh, we'll do the Schmaltz's trivia question. We appreciate everything. All right, let's take a quick break, and then we'll be back with more from Big 12 Media Days right here in Frisco, Texas.
When you strive for greatness, you have a target on your back. When it comes to finances, we're all targets for scammers. But with the right game plan, you can protect yourself. Don't get faked by fraud.
Here's a tip. If you receive a call from someone claiming to be from a company, don't give them your personal information, ever. Unless you know them personally, hang up and call the company back on a verified number.
This message is brought to you by Central National Bank.
Lake Waco Golf Club is a semi-private facility nestled along the north point of Lake Waco, one of the few facilities in Texas to have a full 18-hole regulation golf course as well as an executive 18-hole par 3 golf course. Plus, check out their bar and grill, which is open to the public. And if you're not a golfer, then enjoy time by the pool or even enjoy fishing around Lake Waco. Become a member today and call to book your tee time. Lake Waco Golf Club, where family and friends fun begins. Check them out at lakewacogc.com for more information.
I have a lot of friends reach out to me about buying vehicles for their fleet and their business, and I always recommend Allen Samuels. You see a lot of businesses running different brands, but I really think Rams are the best looking ones out there. They're going to take care of you. They're going to make sure that you get what you need, and they're always going to take care of you on the service side and the sales side.
Like Allen Samuels always said, Waco has a lot to offer, and so do we at Allen Samuels Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. Come by, let's be friends.
Enjoy a quiet atmosphere with beautiful river views at the Brazos Landing, located in Waco along the Brazos River across from McLean Stadium. Enjoy homemade dishes like shrimp and grits, chicken piccata, braised short ribs, prime New York steaks, and more. Plus, enjoy a delicious dessert like creme brulee or key lime pie. Open for lunch and dinner Tuesday through Sunday. Brazos Landing in Waco, the only place where I-35 and the Brazos River meet.
All right, coaches making their way over. Unfortunately, I mean, don't stop there. Goodness gracious. Sonny Dykes, he appeared to be headed toward the Rogue Media Studios, the Mosley show. He's been cut off. Oh my gosh, who is that over there? Is that Tyler? Just go over there and yank those headsets off of them, Corey. That is crazy. I mean, they were headed this way. But we still have others. Lance Leipold. We missed Lance this morning, unfortunately, the Kansas coach. But we've had a lot. We had some great ones yesterday. Coach Aranda. We had Joey McGuire. We had Rich Clark, the executive director of the CFP. So they'll do the best they can, and they'll try to get them to it. And if we don't get them today, we'll get them soon. We've got other things to share with you, even from yesterday. It was good to have Dave Aranda on yesterday. Dave, who has decided to embrace social media. And Kevin, I would jump on with me real quick here. Let's see. What's that gonna do when we do that, Logan? I don't want to do anything crazy to our screen. I think we got everything kind of blocked how we need it. But let's see if Kevin jumps on with us, what it looks like. That's fine. That's fine for now. It looks like, Kevin, you're just like my Now let's leave it. Let's leave it like that because we want the camera to be ready in case one of these head coaches make it over here. Kev, I would just say that been a very productive Big 12 media days. I would think the tech thing was the big story. I don't think Commissioner Yormark. I mean, I don't know. All he had to say, it did not have to be some big thing, some revealing, provocative type thing. But I think to say I'm not going to talk about it just wasn't a totally a great way to go.
Well, you know why he had to say that, right?
He didn't have to say anything.
It's because they had to have steak together first. And
I think the steak happened recently. I don't think the steak. I don't know if it happened the other night. You think the steak?
Yeah, he didn't want to say anything yesterday because they had to have. Steak is the great breaking of bread.
Well, then he should have gotten up today and addressed it. I would say I was glad they kept asking, about it. But I hated the way it was asked because and even today, there's an inquiry about Cincinnati and what Cincinnati, may have known and when they knew it and all that kind of stuff. I
think I was the first person to bring that up.
Is that right, Kevin?
Yeah.
Did you want some credit for that?
Yeah.
The Cincinnati thing?
Yeah.
I like it.
Everybody's trying to throw IU under the bus because it was happening there.
Uh-huh.
But what about Cincinnati? What about the middleman?
I would say Cincinnati has brought the scariest Bearcat or the scariest mascot. I mean, it's like 9 feet tall. It's very intimidating. I also don't think. I mean, they don't usually let guns in here, but I think the Mountaineer is allowed to do that. There's our own. I thought I saw Pete Souza briefly. Oh, there he is, just stalking around. The Pete Souza show, which has just kind of been. I don't even know what they're putting on it because he's been interviewing all kinds of people, lots of legends. I'm talking about Pete, but there's some other folks right now. That guy right there walking, the older gentleman right there, Logan, big time legend. Big 12, been around forever, some kind of long time Big 12 media guy. And that's good. Hoping that maybe Sonny Dykes makes his way over to the old Mosley show. You always know. Now, what's hard to know is Kansas State, Logan goes with kind of like their old school colors are kind of that lavender, which is a kind of a fun look. I like their old school uniforms and all of that. But then see the TCU people wear their kind of lavender sport coats and all of that. So you have trouble telling the TCU people from the Kansas State people. Now I'm looking down there at Sonny, and we'll see when Sonny wraps that up. Logan, I might need you just to go down there and just intercept him. All right, use some of that Tarleton State initiative. That would be good because right now the SID is not over there at that table where he is. But we'll be ready if Sonny does show up. But man, lots of media here, and it has been a banner day. And sometimes, Kev, what will happen is when you're here, people will interview other media members and all that. I try to avoid that. I mean, it's fine, but it just seems kind of okay. Let's see if Kevin Connors has got. Oh wait, he says, "Are you guys?" He says I have to do another hour on TV. Can I come by at 3 p.m.? Oh no! Oh no! Oh goodness! This is the Sports Center host Kevin Connors. Oh dang! I'm gonna say, oh dang, we are off air at 3. Oh man, that's too bad. That's too bad because he would run over here and totally do it. But that's okay. That's okay. We had just about everybody you can imagine on the program yesterday. Now, of the coaches, and I sat there today, Kev and Logue, and I really focused in on what everybody was saying. I feel for the Utah coach. I feel for the Iowa State. Here's the good news for Baylor. I need to look at Baylor's schedule again because I think there are even more, like, look at the BYU people. Hello? They're still here. I mean, they were here yesterday. Look, they're still kind of moving around here. That guy, that's the play-by-play man. I guess he's doing his stuff. Maybe gonna travel back today. By the way, Kev and Logan, just so what are we hearing on the feedback there? Are you hearing that, Logan? Almost like a TV show or something happening during our show? Is that Kevin's phone was going off? I don't know. I was just hearing kind of a. Okay, I didn't know what was going on there. We do have news coming out of Wimbledon. And by the way, we got another Baylor player to share with you, a Baylor linebacker who joined us earlier. We have not shared that with you, and so we want to share that with you in a little while. But wild card, this almost never happens. A wild card entry at Wimbledon. The great Arthur Ferry upset Flavio Cabali. Flavio Cabali falls today in a wild card. Logan, this never happens, okay? Has made it to the Wimbledon semifinals, and a pretty incredible story as Arthur Ferry somehow, and they're calling it a fairy tale. There's Zach. Zach, hop on. You want to hop on for a second? Yeah. We do have we have my man Zach Smith walking around. Now we'll have to be ready, Zach, because it looks like Sonny Dykes could be making a beeline for me at some point. But it's good to see you.
I know my spot in line.
It was good to see. No, you have a good spot, and I saw Bryce over there with Tom earlier. I was looking at your framing over there. Good. We got kind of good. You can see my face behind you there, Zach. Beautiful. Yeah, with the sunglasses and everything. You were really focused yesterday because we had all the Baylor people moving around and some of the different storylines. And so all that was interesting. And also the Texas Tech stuff was very interesting yesterday. You have gone viral. Zach has.
I don't know if I can do the hands over my eyes.
Yeah.
Just annoyed.
Yeah. There was a question that was asked by, I think, somebody from the Texas Tech media, and it was asked in a very kind of homerish type way. And it was, and then of course the commissioner came over, and I think genuinely the commissioner didn't totally hear all the stuff the guy said. So he asked him to repeat it. Stand up, please. And I'll come over here and I'll respond to you. And it was a whole thing. And for instance, there's an inquiry even today, the NCAA looking into Cincinnati. That aspect of a question is interesting in fair game. The way it was asked, though, was like comparing gambling to all these other things, like tortillas and paddles at Oklahoma State. And it was a very sort of over the top, and I even kind of said something about it, and the guy kind of came back, and I'm like, whatever. I'm sure he's a nice enough guy, but it was a dumb moment. And Stephen Hawkins from the AP and Zach Smith from the Waco Trib both were really put off by this question, and both showed up on all these pictures. The video's been shown a lot, and they both have their faces in their hands.
When I'm already kind of awkward, right? And when things like that happen, I just want to curl up in a ball and just kind of go away. That's kind of what I was feeling in that moment.
It's awkward enough when the people do the thing. I'm fine. I understand most people aren't used to talking in front of however many people. Let's call it 500 people or something. And so if you want to jot down what you're going to ask just so you don't kind of forget, that's fine. But some of it is kind of over the top, reading this kind of long question and all. And this was meant to be sort of a provocative type question.
It was not asked very well. I think it was a fair point to make in many ways. Does Texas Tech is there a different standard? But, you could have asked that in a much more eloquent way.
I think that's right. and I always like to see, because I subscribe to the Waco Trib, and like to see what you and Bryce have to say. But did you? It's hard. We've seen so many of these things over the years. It's hard 7 years in to go, oh my gosh, I sense something completely different from Dave. We're not. He may change some things in his approach. Right. I think he's been a little better with the media, certainly. He has done some social media stuff.
That's my story today, by the way.
Oh, okay.
So go check out the wacotrib.com.
Yes. I would suggest that. And that's fun. But again, it comes down to, if he doesn't win, this is probably his last season. And we all know kind of there was something that happened with Mac Rhodes that likely kind of led to him getting this one more season, kind of a prove it or lose it season. So in some ways, this is fun because they got this quarterback who's going to be a lot of fun, who everybody in the nation was trying to get a couple of years ago when he was coming out, of high school in Texas. And so there's a lot of fun storylines. But what was to you? Is there anything different in anything Dave presented? What was the biggest headline coming out of hearing from Dave and the players yesterday in your mind?
Well, I think the biggest one was kind of the leadership and kind of where that's coming from. It used to be, the coaches. The coaches were in charge. The coaches were the ones who were, leading this way. And now they've shifted that. They've created a player council, a leadership council that is new this year, different from it has been in past years. They've got 16 guys, and they're meeting with Dave on every Wednesday, and kind of it's coming from the players. It's not coming from Dave or any of the coaches, really. And so if there's someone that screws up, it's on the players to fix that. And I some of that I think is certainly just them kind of put on a good face, but at the same time, I do believe some of it, because the leaders in that room, I think of Michael Allen, I think of Kylan Reed. I was really impressed. I don't know if you got the chance to talk to Jamal Weiss yesterday. Man, he's a unique character. So I do think with some of the players that they brought in,
the gold grill and everything.
So I do think some of those players that they brought in, that leadership coming from the players is different coming from the coach, and I think that matters, and I think that is a difference. That is a big difference.
Yes, I'm sorry I got distracted because there went Sonny Dykes, like walking right by.
He's a star today.
Oh goodness, I
guess
so.
He's not afraid to let it rip. I appreciate that about him.
Yeah,
whether he's up there, he's not afraid to tell it like it is.
I feel like that's an interesting storyline, even that about TCU, is that he said it before. He didn't say it today, really, but they're kind of almost indicating that they've upgraded at quarterback. And, their quarterback, who put up huge numbers, I know they haven't put up huge win totals, but their quarterback is now at Indiana, and I promise you, if they have another breakout season, he'll be in the Heisman conversation, just like their last Heisman winning quarterback, Fernando Mendoza. But I think they love this kid from Harvard. But I mean, it's like anything. How in the world can you know exactly what he's going to be when he's been playing in the Ivy League?
Yeah, especially coming from Harvard, it's like, what kind of level is that? That's not. Say what you will about the Big 12, it's better than the Ivy League. But what Sonny Dykes has done, he's proven that he can maybe coach up a quarterback a little bit. So, if the guy certainly has the smarts, that.
Yeah, he does. And I was sitting here thinking, like, what over the years, what position has translated the best from the Ivy League? We've certainly seen it in college basketball. Mm-hmm. We don't see it a ton because the portal still is relatively new. So we don't have a whole huge sample setting of former Ivy League greats. I would say back in the day, the only guys that made the NFL from the Ivy League, and there were a couple, Fitzpatrick was a guy that, but there were some O-linemen that were pretty good. That would come out of there. Yeah. And,
but that O-lineman is so much about like reps and just like getting on the field. It's not always like can you read a defense? It's can you be big and block a big dude,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, it's going to be, and I think Lance Leipold may be coming over here, and
All
then,
right.
but I was going to ask you too, of those new guys, Morgan Scalley taking over with the Utes. Jimmy Rogers, 1 year at Washington State, and then then he takes over Iowa State. That's a tough situation
That's
with Matt Campbell taking about 25 players with him to Penn State. There's two other new coaches in the Big 12 as well, and it's just of those. And the guy at Oklahoma State's a very interesting one because
Eric Morris.
he's bringing a bunch of UNT guys, and Mestamaker could be, he's a very legit quarterback and put up great numbers. UNT, like I would just feel like way better about him. The Harvard guy may turn out to be great,
Yeah,
but
maybe.
I think if we're projecting what somebody's going to be, it's way easier to do it with Mestamaker. Now, what we don't know is like, could UNT be like what the James Madison players were for Signetti? Are there enough of them, and how high a quality? Because I think he's bringing a good running back, a really good wide receiver. Which of those new coaches, though, in your mind, has the best chance to kind of get things going pretty quickly?
Well, I mean, Eric Morris is the easy one. But I don't think that's the answer. I of all the people that are singing Drew Mestamaker's praises, I am not one of them. I don't think that what he does is going to contribute or going to be able to cut it in the Big 12. I covered that team when he was in high school, and I was not very impressed. And a lot has changed since then, but it's not Eric Morris. To me, it's Morgan Scalley. That's pretty easy. He seems like a guy that's kind of cut out, certainly for the Utah job. That's certainly been a dream job, and it's been where he's been. And there's such a base there that is all in for the Utes that, however many players can go to Michigan, however many, but there's still going to be that kind of floor. And so I think he's set up for not just success, but there's going to be a floor. They can't get that bad, They're not going to go down to where I would probably pick Iowa State to get down to. So
Yeah.
I think Morgan Scalley is the guy that is going to come in and probably not miss a beat at all.
And that's interesting because I think the hard part is Whittingham. You got to be careful about these coaches in waiting deals.
Right.
Because Whittingham was kind of clearly not totally ready to step away, but thought he was kind of doing right by the university. In the minute he had an opportunity. Now, it took some weird stuff to give him that opportunity, but not only did he take the Michigan job, but he took his coach. He took some of the coaches. Right. He took a lot of the players. So Scalley, in some ways, he had been helping Scalley and getting him ready for this moment. And to your point, a lot of good stuff was going to happen there, you would think. And then it kind of backfires, the whole thing. And I am surprised that the same thing didn't happen with Bob Stoops. I know Bob Stoops came back and coached some like semi-pro or whatever they call that, football. But I thought that Bob still had enough juice that when he stepped aside for Lincoln Riley, that he would almost have a really hard time not coming back. Because, the Stoops brothers and people like that, that's all they know. Mm-hmm. They just want to coach, and that's what they do. Any other storylines grab you from this? I did like the storyline of this steak that the tech people in your mark apparently had a meeting of minds, and they went to a steakhouse together. And now Cody Campbell is telling everybody, he's like, other Big 12, this is about 4 hours ago, other Big 12 teams need to do what we've done. And, kind of the whole thing about tides lift all boats saying, and as we were joking earlier with Kevin, it was just kind of like, oh, okay, I think if every school had like some billionaire many times over, like Cody, they would be trying something similar to Texas Tech. It's not like they're sitting around like, well, we got billions here, but we don't really know what to do with it. We don't know how to spend it. And but that's Cody's latest thing. He's like, basically, we need to be better, and more people need to be like us.
I think if Baylor had a billionaire walking around, they would use that and they would flaunt that. That just seems like another Texas Tech, like, look at what we have, you can't compete with us kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like another, like, they're acting kind of like they're Texas when they don't have any of the history of Texas.
Correct.
And it's just it's not very becoming, and I don't think, depending on where college football is going, they're not making any friends. So if this thing does divulge into a super league, they might not have very many friends out there when that happens. So I don't know. I do not like what Texas Tech is doing. I respect them from a competition standpoint, but man, they are just not making anybody happy at this point.
No.
I don't think that's a good thing for their long-term health.
I don't think so. You're right. They don't seem to care about that right now, and they're about to go on a little bit of a revenge tour, and they may say that's not what motivates them. And I think what will be fascinating is to see what is Hammond, especially if they have to kind of rush him a little bit back from this ACL. What is that? How is that going to hurt them early in the season? And can he be like? I will say this: Baron Morton did a fine job and had some great moments there. The playoff game was a horrible moment.
It was not good.
So I don't think Will Hammond, if he is fully healthy, can be, if they happen to get to a playoff, I don't think he can play worse than Baron Morton in that playoff. So
is there a chance, though, like their offensive line, they've got couple really good running backs. Their defense is elite. So I know things go as quarterbacks go, but Texas Tech has got a lot of other pieces. Can that tide lift maybe not as good quarterback, not as healthy quarterback? I don't know, how would you qualify Hammond?
I think it'll be fascinating to see, because Baylor and Tech get back together this year, and
Butler returns.
Yeah, that'll be that's right. I didn't even, honestly, when they started calling it that, I literally was like, what are they doing that? No, you're fine.
Sorry, FCC.
It's the Mosley show. You can do whatever. Zach, you were walking by, and I appreciate you being on. Zach Smith, what's tomorrow? What can we read in the Waco Trib tomorrow?
I'm writing about Dave Aranda, social media superstar.
Oh, that's tomorrow's. Okay.
Yeah. He's posted. Here's #journalism.
Did you look back at all his posts?
Yeah. Yeah. So in the 6 years between when he was hired and May, he posted 30 times on Twitter. Since May.
Mostly when somebody would like pass away or something.
Correct. It was all very negative. Well, not negative, but RIP.
Yeah.
Since then, he's more than doubled that. And so I just kind of talked to him about why that was important. That's certainly out of his comfort zone. And yeah, it's a good story. It's an interesting thing. So
did you ever go to a Big Ten media day?
I did basketball a few times.
You did,
but
okay.
Never football. No, that was always
just
basketball.
Your Michigan State background. I wondered how this would compare.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't know. No, I did basketball, and that was much smaller, and we could do that on the cheap too. So
yeah,
it was fun, but nothing like this where I'm.
Were the Michigan State people like happy to see Dusty May go because Michigan's been so great? What was the what was the reaction?
Oh, like people were like, "Yeah, go take the Mavs, John." Like yeah, you have fun with that. I think it has not been a good time in East Lansing for the last few years with Michigan winning a football championship, and it's no bueno in East Lansing right now. But we'll get over it. We get through everything else.
All right, we'll take a quick break, and thank you, Zach, for being with us. The Mosley Show continues. You never know who will show up on set. We continue from Big 12 Media Days in Frisco, Texas.
Right in the heart of Waco, there's a place Texas pride meets world-class flavor. The Dancing Bear Pub, open 7 days a week, 4 to 11, and offering happy hour Tuesday through Friday, 4 to 6. Wednesday is trivia night, and Thursdays is $1 off Texas Pints. A great place to meet up with family, friends, or make new friends. Kick back and soak in the laid-back vibe that keeps Waco coming back for more. Located at 1117 Spade Avenue, Dancing Bear Pub in Waco, where great beer and good company come together.
David Willey here. I got a question for you. How do you know what kind of deal you're getting on your copier? If you really want to know, give me a call and I'll be glad to talk to you about it. CTWP, your only local copier company.
It's the premier charity event of the year, the 2026 Central Texas Cattle Barons Ball, presented by Ascension Providence. A fun evening filled with great food and drink, dancing, a spectacular auction, and more. This year's theme is Nashville Nights, Neon Lights, and Bullfights. Get your tickets now, donate, or be a sponsor. Help support the American Cancer Society to find a cure. The 2026 Central Texas Cattle Barons Ball, October 24th at MCC Highlander Ranch. For more information, go to centraltexascattlebaronsball.org.
Celebrate America's 250th with Marineland Boating Center. We have Yamaha boats and wave runners in stock and ready for summer fun with great prices, easy financing, and expert service to get you on the water. Join us during the week of July 4th, featuring special savings on Yamaha boats and wave runners, giveaways, and family-friendly fun. Visit Marineland Boating Center, your authorized Yamaha dealer at I-35 and Loop 340 in Waco, or online at MarinelandWacoYamaha.com.
At Schmaltz's Sandwich Shop, we don't just make sandwiches, we build them with fresh ingredients, bold flavors, and homemade baked bread every single day. Toasty on the outside, goodness on the inside. Schmaltz's Sandwich Shop in Waco is locally owned and operated since 1975 with 2 locations in Waco, Town West off Valley Mills and downtown off 5th Street. Whether it's lunch, dinner, or just a craving, we got the perfect bite waiting for you.
Matt Mosley show from the media days right here, the Big 12 media days. Folks kind of wrapping up here. I still see some K-State. I see the K-Staters walking around. We were in the middle of a talking to Zach, and I couldn't really sprint out of my spot here, Kev, to go get Sonny. Sonny goes walking right past. They committed to being on with us at 1:15 today, so we'll get him eventually. But it would have been nice as for him to actually show up at his appointed hour. Now, I do see, and I may, Kev, I may let you talk here in a minute, and I may go down there and try to grab because I'm trying to. Lance Leipold, who I was going to have this morning, and we missed him sadly, is down there, and I may go try to set something up and try to get the Kansas coach since he's setting up down there. Let's see if we can get him this direction. Kev, why don't you can you jump on for a second and bring us up to date on some World Cup or whatever? Let me kind of go see if I can do a little producing real quick.
All right, sounds
okay,
good.
Thank you.
I'll take it from here. World Cup. Let's see. Well, we lost James Rodriguez yesterday. Virgil van Dijk earlier. We lost Modric. We lost Ronaldo. So many people in their final and last World Cup. You would assume that this is Messi's last World Cup. We came oh so close to losing him, but with 13 minutes left, Argentina down 2-0 to Egypt. Scored not 1, not 2, but into additional time in the 92nd minute, scored a third goal, albeit a controversial one, seeming to get some help from referees along the way. And so Argentina is still alive, and that leads us to the final 8, or what we would call the Elite 8. In soccer, they call it the quarterfinals of the World Cup. The teams are, as you can see here, represented by their one main player. Although, if last year's Super Bowl conspiracy theory had any indication, Mbappe is the closest to the World Cup, and so that would mean that last year's runner-up, if you believe in the conspiracy theory with graphics, would be the one to win this World Cup. Not sure how that will play out. In as far as the golden goal is concerned, Messi is up by 1. He now has 19 overall, and then Mbappe and Haaland both have 7, followed by Harry Kane with 6 in this World Cup. And so these are the quarterfinal matchups starting tomorrow. You have France and Morocco, followed by the next day is Belgium and Spain. And then you have Norway and England and Argentina and Switzerland play on Saturday. So that is the quarterfinal lineup for the World Cup as it stands right now. So we will see. You can say what you will about the additional 48 teams or the expanded format or even the matchups in the round of 16, but I believe that as of now, the best 8 teams are represented. And so that is your World Cup update. So we bring back now Matt Mosley.
Yeah, good work. I'm in there. I'm right over here. Yeah. So I raced down there to visit with the Kansas coach. He's on the sports animal. And again, these guys have to go with a certain schedule due to a traffic incident on unfortunately I didn't have a wreck, but there was a huge wreck this morning on the tollway, and so by 5 minutes we missed our time with Coach Leipold. So they are trying to run him down here in a little bit, but at 45 after, he has to be at one of these big breakout sessions. So it's a little bit crazy right now, but we are doing our thing, and we're wrapping up media day. It's been a really fun time here. We got one more interview to share with you. In fact, this is of Baylor, and we just started talking to Zach Smith about what kind of Baylor's time here. Last night, they generally just have the typical. And I've been to about a million of these things. They go to a hotel ballroom and they have all the Baylor people gather. And last night they had Dave Aranda and they had Doug McNamee there, and they went to like a putt-putt place out in the Colony. And they said it was fun, but like literally whole different kind of Baylor crowd and a much younger Baylor crowd, which is fine. That's fine. I mean, I would say the same sort of people show up at these things. So if you want to bring in some new blood and have some different folks, they had that last night. Now, Dave was with us yesterday, and Doug was around here. I want to remind folks, our Baylor audience, Doug McNamee and I will be sitting down together on the 21st of July, and we're planning to have a pretty long powwow. We've got a lot to cover. And it'll be maybe the last time I talk to him as we get ready to head into the season. So we've set that aside, and that'll be Doug McNamee, July 21st, special time with Mosley and McNamee together again, go one-on-one. Now, interestingly, Logan, look over there. Who do we have? We got a pretty good gathering of folks. They're now starting to do some of the breakout session with coaches. And there's a nice gathering over there for somebody that we can't see because of all the people, the huddled masses, as they've gathered. So they are doing their thing. I'll tell you what, Kev, let's do this while we may. The sports animal has Lance Leipold. Unfortunately, he has a breakout session at 2:45, so we may get him, we may not. We're going to try to bring him down here if they could. We missed him this morning. Let's let people hear from our interview yesterday, and this is Kylan Reed, who is expected to be one of Baylor's best pass rushers. And if they are to have the kind of season they want to have, and they honestly need, for Dave Aranda to remain head coach, they need at least 7 wins, maybe 8 wins for that to happen. If that is going to happen, Joe Klanderman, the new defensive coordinator, is going to have a breakout season from that unit. Now, the good news is he came bearing gifts. 2 safeties, defensive linemen, big-time defensive end, pass rusher. And then one of the players he inherited that already was at Baylor, two of them, Kylan Reed and Travion Barnes, will be playing linebacker. Let's hear from Kylan Reed from Baylor, one of the representatives they brought to town. It is the Matt Mosley Show live from Media Days in Frisco, Texas. Kylan Reed. Sounds kind of like a superhero name. That's a good one. Joining me now, Kylan's in full uniform. I'm sure you'll transition into the suit maybe later. Do you have something nice picked out? Would you go with like pinstripe or anything? Or pretty conservative? What are we going with later?
You would expect to see a nice brown com suit. Shoes gonna make it pop a little bit.
Jamal showed up over here and he was smiling into the camera to show off that grill. Yeah. That's pretty impressive. Yeah, but I think he's been kind of working on that for a while. Kylan, you're one of the few. This has had to be kind of interesting for you because you had some really good games last year, but you also had to say goodbye to a lot of teammates, but you have a ton of new teammates. Was that a very natural thing for you to do, to sort of help in bring everybody in and teach them the ropes, or did you have to kind of get outside yourself? What's that all been like?
Definitely been called to get outside myself a little bit. Just me being one of the guys that's been there the whole time. A lot of transfers, like you said, having to speak up more, having to have more of a voice. I kind of like to lead by example, but just being able to have those vocal words behind my actions definitely has made the transition for a lot of transfers easy. Just showing them that the way of Baylor, how we go about things, how we do things, how we work.
You know, you were in coverage quite a bit, but you also managed. A lot of the talk was like, oh, we need more pressure, I need to hit the quarterback more, and there wasn't enough of that from the defense. But you actually put up some pretty solid numbers in that area in terms of pressures and all. The Joe Klanderman defense, is it a way different, your role? Like how significant is the change in what you're going to be required to do this season?
I think my role is pretty similar. I think Clan does a great job using our abilities, get me in some spots where I can make some plays and use my rushing ability. But I think pretty much my role is the same. Okay.
And what's the linebacking core? Welcoming a few more in, but you, Travion back. What do you think of this crew?
Definitely a joy. Just to see all those guys come in ready to work. Like you said, Travion Barnes battling some stuff this year, but full-fledged, ready. He back. He ready to go. And we got some good dudes surrounding us in that room. Kedrick Walker, Caleb Burns. We got a room full of guys ready to play. Great athletic ability in that room, but also some good ball knowledge there too.
What do you like about what Klanderman's asking you to do? Do you think you mentioned pass rushing? Will that be even called on more? And is this still like because there's the jack position, obviously you're, I think, going to be off the ball linebacker, but someone who probably wouldn't mind getting over there on the edge every once in a while and showing some pass rushing. How many different things do you think you'll be asked to do?
I think Clan has a great way of putting some change-ups in there. I think for me personally, just perfecting the things I do well and just sticking to my fundamentals, making the plays I'm supposed to make. I do hope to get some rush attempts, get down there on that line. I do enjoy doing that, but I think I'm an all-around player where I can do anything that the team needs me to do.
Who are some of the newcomers that have really turned heads, would you say? Like I just had Jamal on. Obviously, they've added some defensive linemen, a couple of guys from K-State. But who's really stood out to you?
Man, we got so many just new additions, new pieces that, man, I feel like going to be vital. But like you said, that D-line is crazy. Just the guys in that room, Hosea Wheeler, Jamal, J-Mac, you got Cam Washington, you got GP. You got a lot of guys that just have good ability on that D-line. But our offensive room, our receivers, man, we got some nice receivers. We got some receivers that's ready to do some things, man. So that room, the corner room. Got some guys that came in. Day got him coming in from Oklahoma. We got J-Roll from Kansas coming in. Man, just guys that's ready to play. I think that's the biggest thing. Guys that's willing to connect and guys that's ready to work.
What feels different about this team heading into, summer practice or fall practice?
I can say the biggest thing is the connection. I think we all connected from the staff to the coaches to the players. We all aligned for one mission, man. We want to win some games, man. We want to play Baylor football. We want to restore the faith in Baylor, the hope in Baylor. So that's what we're here to do.
All right. What are those? You mentioned the receivers, but what are those running backs like? Because sometimes you're asked to cover those guys. Bryson was a really good, powerful, great runner. But sounds like you'll have some guys. And is Dawson full go?
The white buffalo, like? Man. The white buffalo. I think the running back room. We got some return. We got 3 returners. We got some new additions. I don't think we have any transfers in that room, but man, Coach Hall has a great way of getting those guys to produce, getting those guys to generate the yards, the catches we need. Man, them guys can do everything. They all around great backs. I think they got a great coach leading them, and I think they're ready to do it this year. I don't really see too much letdown. Like you said, with Bryson Washington leaving, man, we got guys that's ready to step up and do it.
All right, and Clanderman's personality, what's that like? What's he like on a daily basis to be around?
Clanderman, he's a fired up guy. He's definitely gonna bring a lot of energy. You're gonna see him when he come in the room. He's tall, he's a big statue, but just the energy he brings in that room, you can tell he has a want to, he has a drive, and this is important to him.
How big of an honor was this to be chosen to be one of the representatives to come up to this event?
Definitely a blessing. I never really seen myself doing things like this. Like I said, not being too talkative, but having to come out of my shell and just being able to here to talk to so many people and represent my team in a great way, it's definitely a blessing.
Well, congratulations on that. Look forward to a really fun season, and look forward to that calm brown suit that'll come out later today.
Yes,
but thank you for coming by the Mosley Show. We appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Kylan Reed joining the Mosley Show. We get back more. We'll hear from Brett Yormark, the commissioner of the Big 12, as we're at Big 12 Media Days here in Frisco, Texas at the Star.
Make this the summer event at Allen Samuels in Waco. Get behind the wheel of an iconic new Dodge Charger RT and score $5,000 in savings. First responders and military members get an extra $500 bonus. Allen Samuels Dodge.
Come by, let's be friends.
As part of Central National Bank's partnership with Baylor Women's Basketball, we asked Coach Collin to take a shot at improving the efficiency of our drive-thru.
The lane is open! Drive the lane! Attack the lane! Go! 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 Go!
We have a few kinks to work out.
Is this what you had in mind when you invited her?
No. I think you should say something to her.
Me?
Let's make Craig do it.
Okay.
You're gonna take this canister and you're gonna shoot it up.
Be all right. Be all right. Just be confident. Hey, Coach. Can I have a word with you?
Craig, not right now. I'm with a customer.
Okay.
Central National Bank, proud partner of Baylor Athletics and Baylor Women's Basketball.
All right, it is the well, there we are. Now, who's in this chair right now? Who will be the next to be in this chair next to me? Had a fun time here with Logan. Kevin's done great work back at the mothership. The looks like the Cincinnati players, some of the Utes. Actually, so some of the Utes players over there, the Utah players. I just walked over and the Colin Klein just wrapped up that's the new coach at K-State, former great quarterback at K-State. He's heading right over to do TNT. These things do not always fit with our live needs. But, Kevin, you'll be happy to know that the SID at Kansas State said he would be happy to get Colin Klein on with us later this week. So the former defensive coordinator at A&M and the new coach at K-State will join us later in the week. And perhaps because they have to do so many of these, it will be a more of a, we can settle in with him and do 20 or 30 minutes. So that'll be nice. So we'll look to do that. I don't know. What's tomorrow? Maybe Friday. We'll see if we can do it Friday. We'll set it up surely by Monday, and we'll get Colin Klein. Now, for Sonny Dykes, we'll see. We'll see. They may come back. They may offer Sonny, and I may just decline. I'm going to look at my email right now and see if what they've said. I'm very upset, Kevin, with the Rogue Media staff right now, because I think they might have gone to Babes, and I've not only do I like Babes, but I like Bubba's, and they're owned by the same thing. Bubba's is over by the SMU campus. And I've been known to, sometimes when I'm feeling healthy, get the grilled chicken, get lots of vegetables, lots of okra. They give tons of helpings. And what they did yesterday, and I mean, again, Corey has become a very good friend of mine, but they let the young Mosley get back to his house, and then the plan was hatched to go to Babes. And then in front of me, Logan and others were talking about, well, Logan, did you like that dessert you had the other day? Just right in front of my face. So this is very upsetting, but that's not the way I wanted to end Big 12 Media Days. But this is just what you have. This is what I've had to deal with. So anyway, I'm sure somehow they will make it up to me at some point. But as we wrap up, I kind of wanted to give you, this is when I'd almost like, Logan, this would be a good montage, kind of like a na 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 na. Is that Green Day? Na 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 na. Kind of one of those, a little bit of a moving song, or maybe some old school Bobby Brown and New Edition or something like that. But it's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. Okay, but this is the moment we would kind of go back and we would relive our favorite moments of Big 12 Media Days. Now, for our show, especially yesterday, now we've used all our stuff, I think, now, which is great. We had Rich Rodriguez today. We had the Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year, LJ Martin. We had Kylan Reed, Baylor linebacker. Oh, man, this is a good way. Can we do it now? Let's bring him on. This is perfect. Hey, Coach. Hey, Matt Mosley. Yeah, I'm doing fine. Yeah, good to see you. Back in the day, I did my show on ESPN Dallas with Galloway and Brian Estridge. Okay. I don't know if any of us are still talking to each other at this point.
I can't imagine you are.
We had some good times.
I bet.
In fact, at Galloway's 80th, I remember being up there and then looking back, and you were actually in the audience at that, which was an interesting gathering, wasn't it?
It was cool. I thought that was cool the way they did it too. Yeah,
radio show.
Oh, that was neat.
Where does a man find like a beautiful purple or lavender or whatever sport coat? Is that
my wife finds it somehow? Yeah, she's the one who finds this and then kind of says, "Will you wear it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll wear it." And some of them I'm like, "Nah, there's not a chance in hell I'm wearing this." And this is one of the ones I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll wear this."
Honestly, that almost looks like Sonny, like Stanley Korshak or something. That's the kind of thread count I think that one has.
Yeah. I don't know. I would think whatever Walmart sells is probably what this is.
You do not strike me. Your dad may have done some of that. I did always think, with you, I can't help but think of your dad. Did he ever take you to media days? They used to do those SWC media tours, I know.
Yeah.
You remember what it was like
back in the day? I never went.
Okay.
Yeah. Just didn't do it. Now, I've brought my son a couple of times, and it's funny, my wife and son are usually here, but my wife is dropping my girls off at summer camp right now. And so none of them could make it today, but yeah, we usually try to, my son likes to walk around, see the players, hang around a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, back in the day, my dad, no, he didn't do that.
You were saying your children self-awareness is something y'all are still working on a little bit earlier.
Yeah, I think all of us are. I think it's kind of the whole Dykes household's working on that. But yeah, I mean, it's look, I've got 17 and 15-year-old daughters, and they're awesome. But it's they're 17 and 15-year-old girls, and a 9-year-old son, and so my 9-year-old son's bugging the girls, and especially the middle one, and I mean, it's pure chaos at our house all the time, as you can imagine.
You think they'll go to TCU, or are you kind of leaving the door open for them to?
Yeah, my oldest
around?
is looking around.
Okay.
We'll see. A year ago, she said there was no way she would go to TCU, and now she's considering it. So we'll kind of see how it plays out.
Okay.
She's high academic. She's took after her mother that way, but yeah, so she's looking at some places, and wherever she ends up, I think it's going to be good.
Well, your quarterback came from Harvard. If she really has,
I know.
the grades,
No. Yep.
That's very interesting. This Jaden Craig, and to hear you talk about him, it's going to be fascinating to watch him. And it's not like you. I was laughing thinking about you spending that kind of falling in love with the UConn team, and then you. That may be too strong, but you were kind of enjoying watching them, and then you end up with the offensive coordinator. Now, I can't say that you were probably watching a lot of Ivy League. It's not like you were like, oh, this Craig kid is really something.
No, it's funny though. It's funny how stuff happens. Number one, we didn't anticipate, having to find a quarterback in the transfer portal. All that kind of happened fast, and quite frankly, caught me by surprise a little bit. And, it's funny. It happened. Josh basically says he's leaving. Well, I walked down to my, guy that evaluates all our tape and our player personnel director. And I said, Jeff, we're going to have to find a quarterback. And he goes, all right, I got 3 guys ready for you. And so he was the first guy on the tape, and watched the tape, was pretty intrigued, did some background on him. And then, had a conversation with him. And once that happened, I was really intrigued. He just was mature, smart, knew exactly what he wanted. There was no fluff, and he just said, hey, look, this is what I'm looking for. And if this is what you have to offer, then let's talk. And I was kind of in the same boat. Neither one of us had a whole lot of time to BS each other. So it was pretty straightforward conversation. I was impressed with, his intelligence and his ability to communicate. And, for a 22-year-old guy to be that, focused and aware, I thought was impressive. And so we had that conversation, had another conversation, was in the process of hiring Gordon Samish to be the offensive coordinator. Gordon had a conversation with him. I talked to Gordon. Gordon's like, this is the guy. I talked to Jaden. Jaden's like, I want to play for this guy. And so it was all like it came together, and it literally came together in about 24 hours.
Is Gordon's offense, does it jive with what you like to do for the most part? How much
it's
different
interesting.
will it look like?
It's interesting because when came up obviously with Hal Mummy and Mike Leach air raid, and was with Mike all those years at Texas Tech. Well, I got a chance to go run my, what I wanted to do at the University of Arizona. So Mike Stoops hires me to be the offensive coordinator at Arizona. He had really good defenses, but they had struggled on offense. So we get there, and I've got like 7 scholarship tight ends and like 4 scholarship wide receivers. And I'm like, you want me to run Texas Tech's offense with this? You want me to be a spread offense? So we had to figure out how to do it, and one of the guys we got to do it with was Rob Gronkowski at tight end. And so what we ended up being at Arizona was a lot of 21 and 12 personnel with Rob and Chris Gronkowski. And then just because it's what we had. And so as I started looking at UConn, that's kind of what they were, but they were 21 and 12, but then they would be an empty, then they would condense the sets, then they would get into 5 wide, and then they would do all these things. And I remember watching them, and I'm like, I hadn't really seen anybody do this in college football since I was at Arizona. This is pretty interesting stuff. So long story short, yes. I mean, it is really what I enjoy. I think I enjoy it when you have a lot of diversity in your offense. I'm a big believer in being able to run the football. For us at Arizona, we ran power, and we hung our hat on running power. With Gordon, it's more of, wide zone. But you have to have a run play that you can run against every look, and something that your players know how they can adjust and how they can make it work. And so all the boxes started getting checked, and the more we looked at it, and again, the more I talked to him, the more I was like, yeah, this is exactly what I'm looking for.
You ever wondered like what Mike Leach would have thought about NIL and portal? I mean, he kind of barely missed out on it, didn't he?
Yeah. You know, there were a couple of times when we were recruiting some really high profile players. I'm not going to say who they were, that, you know, quarterbacks and wide receivers that we got on campus when I was at Texas Tech working for Mike, and then got in to see Mike. And basically the guys were like, and obviously this is pre NIL, but there was still a lot of NIL in college football. It was just underground NIL. And so anyway, they get in the room with Mike, and the guy goes, "Hey, this is what I want." And I remember Leach several times, you know, cussing these guys basically all the way to the car when they were leaving. And so I could only imagine how that would go with Mike. I mean, you know, it's just, it's funny as different as Mike was, you know, I mean, there was one thing that he resonated was just a joy of playing the game. I mean, our players loved to play. You know, they had a confidence about him and an air that Mike worked really, really hard to create. It was very intentional about. And I don't know how he would handle all this, quite frankly. I mean, I think he would probably, I mean, Mike was incredibly innovative, and his ability to adjust was as good as anybody's. But, you know, I'm not sure he would love this current college football landscape, you know.
Have you changed on the portal somewhat? I mean, you still want to get those high school kids, but you also have to kind of balance, like, how soon are they going to play for me? I can't load up. Not everybody's tech and can load up on everything.
So what's interesting is when I went to SMU, you know, SMU had a couple of good years, but historically had been not very good for almost 40 years. And so, you know, what we had to do was figure out a different way to do it. So we really started doing the transfer portal before the transfer portal. And what I mean by that was we took 22 transfers over 3 years there. And you had to file a waiver, and you had to have circumstances. Well, most of those kids were DFW kids that had gone to play someplace and needed to come home for a particular reason. And so we filed 22 waivers. We had 21 of those waivers granted. So we were doing the transfer portal really before the transfer portal. And that turned around our program at SMU. You know, we got Reggie Robertson, and we got Shane Buechele, and we got some guys that came in and really, you know, took that team from a 5-win team to a 10-win team in year 2. And had it not been for that and our ability to go out and get those transfers, you know, the rebuild at SMU would have been much slower. And so we've always tried to be ahead of the curve. When I went to TCU, we took a lot of transfers that first year. We had to. We only had 5 scholarship D linemen on our team. So we had to go fill in with a bunch of D linemen. You know, there were 1-year guys that were not necessarily, you know, NFL draft picks, but were good quality, tough, productive college football players. And so had we not been able to do that, we wouldn't have been able to have that run to the national championship game in 22. So I've been a big believer in the transfer portal. Given our current situation, the way that it is now, you know, we're probably, quite frankly, I'm guessing $20 to $25 million behind Texas Tech in terms of what we have to spend and what they have to spend. So I'm guessing that, you know, we're going to have to find a different way to do it. And so what we try to do now is recruit high school players. Number one, do a great job evaluating the guys, get the right guys in the building, really develop those players, and then spend most of our resources to try to retain those players. And fortunately for us, in 3 years, we've only lost 3 transfers that were starters for us in 3 years. And so we've been able to follow that model. It's led to us having a lot of really good young players in our program. It's given us some consistency in our program. And quite frankly, it's been the way we have to do it. Look, it's easy when you can play all these teams and go, okay, I want their 3 best players, and we're just going to money whip those guys. And then we want their 3 best players. We're going to money whip those guys. But we're not in a position to be able to do that.
Cody Campbell just said apparently that everybody just needed to be more like them. I don't know if you saw that latest report. Which I thought is kind of an interesting thing to say because, you know, not everybody has a Cody Campbell. You have great, donors.
No, we do. We have a great donor base, and they're fantastic. But I mean, everybody's got their things that they believe in, and their ways of wanting to do things, and what they feel good about. And our donors feel good about spending their money differently, maybe than Cody Campbell feels about spending his.
Yeah. I just always thought you broke the cardinal rule as a new head coach at a place in winning huge. And I saw Todd Haley do it one time. I've seen Tony Sparano do it in the NFL.
No,
and
I wouldn't recommend it.
Go to the national title game.
Well, like I said, if you just flip the deal and you go, okay, year 2 we won 5 games. You could put that year 1, then we do 9-9, and then 13. Well, that's pretty good.
That's
pretty good.
It's great.
People would love that. It's the same. It's
you
the same thing.
You got the order.
Yeah, we got the order backwards. Yeah, but it's okay though. It's you want to create expectations for your program, and we did. I mean, playing for a national championship in year 1 created some significant expectations, but that's okay. I mean, that's what you want. You want to have those expectations. You want to expect to win. You want to, we've won 18 games the last 2 years, and none of us feel good about it. We want to win more than that, and it's hard to do in college football. I mean, 9-win seasons are hard to come by. And we've had 2 in a row, but we're just kind of like, we want something more.
Well, I loved how you talked about the rivalries because you're like me. You're a huge SWC guy. You're a son of the SWC, and it's just hard to even think about SMU.
It is.
Not playing TCU, and Baylor and TCU are at least protected.
Yeah.
But even like Tech in TCU and Tech and these others are not protected right now.
Yeah, we didn't play Tech last year.
Which is just weird.
It's weird. Yeah, it's it's hard. I mean, it's hard to be able to check all the boxes and do all the things that you want to do, and also play the natural rivals. I would love to see, some out of conference league games between, Texas and Texas A&M and some of the folks in, playing some of the teams that are not in the Big Ten or the SEC. And so I don't know. I just would love to see some of those rivalries live on, and maybe some one-offs or some way to find a way to schedule as many of those Texas schools as you can.
Who do you think your fan base would be most excited about playing outside of SMU or Baylor? Is there anyone that you think would they still love the ability to play Texas?
Texas, because we played so long in the Big 12, and TCU had a lot of success against Texas, especially, at the back. Coach Patterson did a great job. And like I said, TCU was kind of a thorn in Texas side for a while.
You ever see somebody like Colin Klein and go, that guy's old enough to be a
I know. I was
coach?
sitting next to him on the stage going, man, I remember playing against you. Wasn't that long ago?
He was kind of,
I got shoes older than him,
But you have a 9-year-old. So that, sir.
There you go.
Keeps you young.
There you go.
Yeah. And honestly, I was kind of jealous hearing that because I got a daughter who's a freshman at A&M, and it's just like, well, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. We wanted a young one to kind of keep us young. I was a bachelor until I was 36. I moved every couple of years and stayed single for a long time. So kind of had kids a little bit older than most people do. But it's been fun. It does force you to be young, and it forces me to keep working.
But those hours you were working wasn't great for dating, probably.
No, it wasn't great.
Yeah.
It wasn't great, and neither were all the moves. It was. The girls had to be impressed though when they came and visited me when I was coaching at Navarro Junior College, and I took them to the dorm there at Navarro, and we ate in the cafeteria. That had to really impress them.
In Corsicana, you couldn't even take them down there. What's that famous bakery or the fruitcake place?
No, couldn't even take them to Collins Street Bakery. had to go to the dorm on Fridays. So I did save enough money to go to CC's Pizza, so that was a big deal.
Oh, CC's, yeah,
$3.99 then.
Oh, wow.
For the buffet.
Yeah.
Might have been $2.99.
I think it was $2.99,
Yeah.
but you probably went to Poncho's at some point.
Oh, yeah. We went
to lift that flag.
I'm guilty. Guilty as charged.
Sonny, that was a fun way to end the show today, man. I was watching you, and I thought, oh, we've lost Sonny. And then I emailed Kyle. So thank you.
Yeah, happy to do it. Good to talk to you guys.
See you.
Yeah,
and
appreciate you.
That is the Mosley Show from Big 12 Media Days. Sonny Dykes joining us and signing off. And we'll see you tomorrow at 1:00. And there's Dave Wilson. Good night, everybody.